Boomer? Boomer? Boomer! Where the hell is that robot?
Welcome to my Minecraft Let's Play. Ha ha ha, stupid cow. Look, I am on a horse. Ha ha ha, I am so random.
Boomer, where the hell? What are you doing?
Can a robot have some privacy?
Are you recording a Let's Play with you?
No, I'm not. I'm looking at robot porn.
And is that my microphone? Dude, I can still hear the Minecraft theme. Dude, I don't care. Just use your own stuff, okay? We got a review to do, alright? Come on.
Initiating intro sequence.
Yes, we are reviewing Ocarina of Time. Last time we talked about A Link to the Past and what makes the Zelda franchise so popular. So let us not waste more time and get on with the game itself. Imagine this. The year is 1998 and you just got this awesome new console, the Nintendo 64. You got sucked into the 3D worlds of Mario 64, you traveled through space with Star Fox 64, but you wondered, is there more? And one Saturday morning, while you're enjoying your cartoons, this trailer shows up. Holy shit! You telling me there's a 3D Zelda coming? But now we were only used to control Link from the bird view perspective, but now it's like I'm really there. That's me fighting monsters, that's me riding through Hyrule, that's me smashing pots and shit. Sign me the fuck on. We are no longer bound to be an observer. The action happened right in front of us. The world felt bigger, the enemies more threatening, the characters more, well, three-dimensional.
Ha, I got that. Funny.
Thank you, Boomer. The game won several awards and topped the rankings all over the world. Nintendo sold 7.6 million copies of the game, not including the 2.6 million copies of the 3DS remake. To this day, a lot of people see it as the best game of all time. We could argue about that, but I don't want to get set on fire again. But I do see why people love this game so much. The story sucks you right in, the combat felt new and exciting, and just the sheer scale of Hyrule was something we haven't seen before in a Zelda game. This wasn't a game anymore, it was an adventure. Everything begins with the fairy Navi being sent out to find our hero, Link, or how I prefer to call him, Asbot. Our hero lives in Kokiri village, a place inhabited by childlike people and protected by the great Deku tree. Terrible nightmares are haunting the little guy. Visions of Princess Zelda and the weird green dude on a horse. After this little introduction, it's time to meet the Deku tree. Something I would do if that asshole here would let me through to him. Never accept you as one of us. Dude, I just saw a guy fucking a stone. I'm 100% sure I don't want to be one of you. But seems like we need a sword and a shield and some money. How do you get money? Smashing shit up. And stealing, of course. Nintendo, teaching the true values to kids since 1983. Once geared up, we can finally meet the Deku tree. Wait, that's the Deku tree? You're telling me that big-staged guy lives here with all these boys and girls? Anyways, the Deku tree tells Asbot that the wicked man from the desert cursed him. Am I the only one who thinks that sounds a little bit racist?
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Boomer. Thank you for the support. To lift the curse, our hero has to go inside the Deku tree and try to find the root of the problem. This acts as something like the tutorial to the game and let us fight our very first boss battle. I just love this battle. You think you just stumbled into an empty room, but then you hear this weird sound. You look up and BAM! giant badass spider monster. Of course, does Gomer stand no chance against her little friend, and the Deku Tree is saved. Well, not quite. Before he passes away, he tells the legend of the creation of Hyrule and the mysterious power that was left behind by the gods. Turns out that the wicked man from the desert is planning on getting his hands on the mysterious power to conquer the world. So Aspert says goodbye to his village to find the 3 secret stones to foil the wicked man's plans. His friend Saria also gives him her beloved Ocarina as a parting gift. Let us just watch how he reacts to that heartwarming gift. A small meet with Princess Zelda later, we learn the wicked man's identity. Ganondorf, King of Thieves. Yeah, pretty sure nobody saw that coming. After some serious ass kicking, Aspert is ready to obtain the Triforce. You even get to see the vision from the beginning again. We also finally get the Ocarina of Time. Wait, where did Saria's Ocarina go? Did he just toss it away after he got the Ocarina of Time? Dude, she gave her that as a memento. What a dick! The only thing left to do now is to retrieve the Master Sword and protect the Triforce. But oh no, it's Ganondorf. He let us do all the work and just sneaked in behind us. What a cheeky little bugger. In the Sacred Realm we are welcomed by a guy named Roo and oh snap! We're all grown up now! Seems like we really fucked up this time.
Correction, you fucked up.
Aren't you supposed to support me? Turns out that Ganondorf used the Triforce to enslave Hyrule and become King of Evil, turning the kingdom into a monster-filled wasteland. Wait, that does sound familiar again.
Starting flashback sequence.
Aghanim succeeded in opening the portal to the Golden Realm, turning the once golden land into a monster-filled wasteland. No, not that one.
But not all hope is lost. Raro did put Aspert into sleep for the past 7 years, so he would be ready to wield the Master Sword. With the sword's help, he would be able to defeat the King of all evil. Are you confused yet? No? Just wait a second. Back in the present, or future, we meet a guy named Shaik, the last survivor of the mysterious Sheikah, the bodyguards of the royal family. Shaik tells us that we have to wake 5 sages out of their sleep to combine their power with ours to defeat Ganondorf. How do we wake those sages? Lifting curses of temples, of course. With the Master Sword and the power to manipulate time on his side, Aspert sets out to put an end to Ganondorf's evil doings. Wait, Boomer, don't we have a cutaway for that?
Yes, we do.
My name is Aspert. After 7 years in time stasis, I've come home with one goal: saving Hyrule. Just to do so, I can't be the kid I once was. To wake the 5 sages and to defeat Ganondorf, I must become the hero of time. Well, Boomer, what do you think about the story?
Needs more robots.
He likes it. With the story out of the way, let's focus on the gameplay a little bit. Like I said before, Ocarina of Time was the first game in the franchise that used polygon 3D graphics. You no longer were bound to watch your hero from the top-down perspective. You were closer to the action. Everything looked more realistic. And back in the day, it blew our minds. N64's analog stick gave you a feel of more control over Link. He was no longer bound to simply walk left or right or up and down. Maybe you're wondering why this game sometimes feels a little bit like Mario 64? Well, it was made with a modified engine of the game. The automatic targeting system we are now used to in almost all the 3D Zelda games was first introduced in this one. It can be a little bit clunky at times and be all over the place. Speaking of clunky, sometimes it seems like the camera has a mind of its own. This can be especially infuriating if you're trying to make a difficult jump or balance on a small walkway. Maybe the most important aspect of Ocarina of Time has to be the time travel. It says time right there in the title, doesn't it? Once you obtain the Master Sword and the Ocarina of Time, you are able to travel between the past and present. Or present and future. I'm confused. Boomer, a little help?
Does not compute.
Back on track. The time travel isn't only important for the story, it also adds to the overall atmosphere. Going back to the past, you see all the people impacted by the coming apocalypse. You see them dancing, laughing, loving. It motivates you to succeed on your quest. Speaking of time travel, there's also a fun little paradox in the game. As adult Link, go to the windmill in Kakariko village and talk to the guy with the music box. He will tell you that 7 years ago a kid in green clothes came to the mill, playing a strange tune. After you learn the Song of Storms, you can travel back in time and go back to the windmill. Playing the song again will set the event in motion the musician talked about in the future. So, we teach the song to ourselves. Good old bootstrap paradox.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's a paradox.
Still doesn't make any sense.
You don't make sense! Enough of time travel. Let's talk about the world we can explore in Ocarina of Time. Hyrule, both the past and future one, is greater than ever before. You got a secluded forest area, mountains, lakes, and even a desert. Every region has a distinct feel to it, and every time you enter a new area, the game introduces it to you with a little cutscene. It sets the mood of the region and what you can expect. While the past feels more lighthearted and innocent, the apocalyptic future gives you a sense of terror, despair, and hopelessness. The damage is done, and the only one able to undo it is our hero. You may have heard it in my Link to the Past review, but I love the dungeons in Zelda games. And Ocarina of Time is one of the reasons for this. During the game you will venture through 8 different dungeons. Every single temple follows its own theme. Overgrown Forest Temple?
Check.
Burning Hot Volcano Dungeon?
Check.
Flooded Water Temple?
Oh no, water dungeons.
I am repeating myself again, but to be honest, I don't hate the water dungeon in Ocarina of Time. I know a lot of players hate it and some even say it's the worst dungeon in all of the Zelda games. Yes, raising and lowering the water level can be a pain in the ass and the keys are hidden in ridiculous places, but I actually kinda like it. It felt challenging and tested your skill. So yes, I like the water dungeon in Ocarina of Time. The ice dungeon on the other hand... Oh no. Oh no. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Ocarina of Time also introduced mini-bosses to its dungeons. They mostly guard the treasure of the dungeons and serve as a halfway point. And every time those bars fall down behind you, you know shit is about to go down. And I can't mention the mini-bosses without talking about Dark Link. Or Dark Assbot in this case. Do I really have to explain why he's awesome? Look at that badass. Why can't I do that? Speaking of bosses, of course I have to talk about the end bosses. Ocarina of Time kicked the already awesome concept up a notch. The bosses got bigger and looked more threatening. Just look at that, a motherfucking fire-breathing dinosaur. Or here, a ghost with severed hands. And whatever the fuck this thing is. My personal favorite got to be the Twin Rovas. To help you defeat those bosses, the game provides you with a wide variety of items. Except for the Ocarina of Time, they didn't really add new stuff to the game. You still can burn enemies with magic spells, deflect attacks with your mirror shield, or grapple onto ledges with your hookshot. But the way everything is presented is just awesome. Some items aid Kid Assbot in his adventure and can only be used by him, whereas Adult Link has a nice collection of weapons and clothes. And don't forget the Ocarina of Time itself. This magical instrument not only gives you power over time, you can control the weather, the time of day. It also enables you to fast travel between the different dungeons. How awesome would it be to travel between locations by simply playing a song? The familiar heart pieces and collectibles make a return. Thanks for the bottle filled with the strange Riot liquid. Ugh. And if you want to take a little break from saving the world, Hyrule offers a variety of side quests. You could travel the world selling masks for the Happy Mask Salesman, or kill Golden Skull Tartars to free those poor saps from their curse. Ugh. Put him away. No, put him away. We already established that the world in Ocarina of Time is huge. Now you maybe think, isn't it a little bit time consuming to travel it by foot? And you're right. That's why you also have the opportunity to get your very own horse. Epona and her several incarnations now belongs to the Zelda series, like Link and Zelda. But this was the very first time you could travel Hyrule on horseback. And just look at that majestic moment of your first ride ever. Awesome. And Nintendo teased you with it right from the beginning. Just take a look at the start screen. As the moon rises over Hyrule, you hear something. Oh my god, he's on a horse! I want that horse and I want it now!
I could transform into a horse.
No you can't.
Yes, I do.
No, I built you, I would know.
Dick.
And yes, someone else is having his debut in this game. The annoying sidekick. Navi the fairy is taking over this role. You want to know why she's annoying? Just see for yourself.
Listen! Hey! Listen! Hello! Listen! Hey! 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 Hey!
Thank you, Boomer.
I wasn't aiming at her.
But there's an even worse character. This fucking owl. Just leave me alone, Orwelly. You'll be watching me? Ugh. Okay, that didn't happen, but it would have been awesome. Now it is time to talk about the endgame, so Boomer?
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Huh. Finally he's useful for something. After diving, hookshotting and ghostbusting his way through Hyrule, Aspert finally awakens the last sage. There's also a little light shed on his roots. No shit he isn't a Kokiri, remember they don't grow up. Pretty obvious, isn't it? Son, your mother and I decided you're old enough to learn the truth. The reason you're so different from your brothers is you're adopted. No shit, Dad! Now ready to face Ganondorf, Aspert meets up with Sheik, who turns out to be, what a shocker, Princess Zelda in disguise. I don't want a shitstorm on my hands, so no further comment about her dressing up as a man. And here's the even bigger shocker, Ganondorf is kidnapping her. So Aspert climbs the King of Evil's tower. Let me say this part of the game can be hard as ass. This is the final test of strength. All your previous endeavors led up to this. The one final encounter with Ganondorf. After the most badass game of Pong, the princess and our hero flee the collapsing castle. And everything is lovely once again. Except it's not. You didn't really think a Zelda game would end without fighting Ganon. And I'm not going to lie, that motherfucker scared the shit out of me as a kid. And now, as you deliver the final blow to Ganon's piggly face, it is finally over. Hyrule is saved once again, and the hero of time sets out for his next adventure. I can see why people love this game so much. It was something never seen before with a Zelda game. Hyrule feels even more alive than before. You fall in love with its inhabitants, with all their treats and flaws. You want to see the furthest corners and what secrets they hold. The enemies look more realistic and fantastic at the same time. Koji Kondo returned to compose the game's score, and it is amazing. The story that unfolds in front of you sucks you right in. And for a kids game it can be legitimately scary. Just take a look at the Ghost Temple. That place is made of dead people. Link feels a little bit more like a person than just a sprite you're moving over the screen. He still doesn't talk, but he grunts and yaws his way into our hearts. And don't forget the title-giving character, Zelda. While she seemed a little bit like the typical damsel in distress character in A Link to the Past, she has a much more important role in Ocarina of Time. She's not just a princess, she's the bearer of the Triforce of Wisdom, and a pretty badass one at that. Just look at her alter ego Sheik. Damn is that guy, I mean woman cool. But there are a few bones I have to pick with the game. The puzzles feel a little bit too easy and obvious. Maybe I just feel that way because I've played it that much. The later part of the game felt a little bit stretched out and parts of it were just unnecessary. Disabling the wards of Ganondorf's castle? Just let me fight that fucker already! I went through 8 dungeons to get here. We've seen all that in the previous Zelda games, and that's the reason why some people not blindly agree with Ocarina of Time's best game of all time status. Yes, it does look pretty, and was the first 3D Zelda, but it didn't bring much new to the table. Find 3 items to get the Master Sword, fight your way through 8 dungeons, kill the final boss. Kill the real final boss. But why change something that worked out before? I think Nintendo missed a big opportunity here. They got this amazing concept of time travel and they barely used it. For example, in the last dungeon, you have to obtain a certain item as Kid Link to progress as Adult Link. That's awesome! Why not build all of the dungeons around this? Ocarina of Time will always hold a special place in my heart. It is a great game. It was the first game I played on the Nintendo 64, and it is one of the games I return to every year. But calling it the best game of all time would be a bit much for me. Maybe you see that different, and that's okay. The most important thing is that it changed the way we see and play games. And there's no doubt in that. Odd chances are that you never played this game. Do it, you won't regret it. If you're a fan of the game, just dust off your Nintendo 64 or 3DS and give it another go. Hyrule is waiting to be saved.
Well, Boomer, what do you think about the game? Boomer? Oh god, not again. Oh no.